All right. I'm gonna go ahead and get us started. We got several people we're gonna work through tonight. I'm assuming our political candidates are on their way. They always like to talk. So, hopefully all of you, I think everyone knows me. Scott Gerlinger, your Civic League president. So, thank you for coming. Do we have any new faces that want to introduce themselves?
I guess I've never been here. He's been here. They've introduced me, but so I'm Sandra Nichols and married to this one who's been here one time.
Right. Todd.
Well, hi. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Yes, I'm the president. Aaron's one of our vice presidents. Brenda's our secretary. Gray's our treasurer. So, and then who else we got? Zach's one of our at-large board members. Joe's our board member emeritus. I think you're also a board member emeritus.
Oh,
Maybe you want.
We live very close to Zach. So
They know
Yeah.
where we live.
Keeps them in the know.
Yeah.
We've got a few others that may be joining us or are out of town. So I will. Or yeah, did you start it, Gray? Oh, okay, he's on it. All right, okay. So I'll get us started with the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so I'm going to introduce our our first speakers here. These are Katie and Marcus from the Commonwealth Preservation Group, and they're here to talk about, as you can see on the screen here, the renovations that are planned for the Talbot Park apartments, which are the apartments just across the creek here, just to the south. Correct? Yeah. Okay. And I'm trying to think. I think it contacted us maybe in May, but we had just finished that meeting then. And we were trying to have them back last month, but as all of you knew, last month it was extremely busy talking about all sorts of other things. So we asked them to come talk here. I think this has already gone through council and other stuff, but this is kind of an informative.
Katie will speak a little bit about the construction status.
Perfect. Yep. Okay. Well, that's all I know and probably can say. So I'll turn it over to you.
Sir, do you need to get out on the?
Oh, sorry. I skipped right over you.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's all right.
It's been a Monday. All right, go for it.
Not about me.
It's gonna slip out the back.
All right. Your stats since your last meeting on 9/24, 7,600 Gloucester. You had a larceny of 2 mountain bikes. On 9/25, 600 Barcliff Road, larceny from unsecured motor vehicle. 9/29, 7,600 Langford Avenue. Is a residential burglary attempt. Victim returned to the residence, find damage to his lock. No entry was gained. On 10/2, 600 Burleigh, larceny attempt from unsecured vehicle. Nothing was taken. On 10/6, 100 block Birmingham Avenue, you had a robbery, home invasion. Suspect pushed the victim down upon entering through the doorway. So second suspect behind. That second suspect was known to the victim. Detectives were able to ID the first suspect, and he was subsequently arrested. So apparently earlier in the day, the second person had put together some furniture for the victim, saw where she had kept her money, so they came back later and they were ID'd from that and arrested the same night. Mm-hmm. On 10/7, 7700 Doris Drive, non-residential burglary. Property management had one of their work sheds broken into, paperwork was stolen. On 9/19, 7300 block Ruthven. There was a check that was intercepted from the mail. They put the check in the mail to their son, never showed up. Someone had taken it, washed it, and then reforged it for additional amounts of dollars, which has been occurring throughout the city. So if you're sending checks through the mail, just be cognizant, make sure they get to where they're going. Because this is the second one I've had in the red sector alone, where they put it in the mail and it never makes it to where it's going. And it's been, they'll wash the check and then re-sign it for a different amount. So
Does registered mail help?
That I don't, it doesn't say in the reports whether it was registered. It's just they put it in the
No, does it
mailbox.
help? I'm just wondering, I mean,
Yeah, I imagine. That way you get a receipt
Right.
notification.
The personal mailbox or the big blue?
The big blue one,
Okay, that was my question.
yeah. So the two occasions they put it out, put drop boxes. So I'm not sure. One was a drop box on Collie Avenue, and then it doesn't specify where the other one was. The only other thing that is helpful to know is Sterling Oaks has part-time officers working their rental property. So things should calm down up that way, right by Ward's Corner. So they have it. They have another set of property up there looking at moving it over to there as well. So there would be part-time officers, Norfolk officers up there at night.
Can you repeat the address on Bartlett?
600 block?
There's only one block.
Yeah.
It's our street.
Left her car unlocked and somebody.
624.
Okay.
Do you have any data or anything about the loud noise that comes over from Harrington Court?
I don't know anything about it.
Nothing? Okay.
from Harrington?
Yeah.
Is that what it
Is
is?
it Harrington Circle?
Harrison, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
He lives there.
Yeah.
It is
Must
in
be
my-
him.
It is in my house.
It's not him, it's the one, it's like the one
one
next
on
to
the
him.
water, right?
Yeah, it's on the water. Yeah.
It's the one.
There's,
Party.
People
Yeah.
in Virginia Beach hear it.
What?
People
it's
in
that
Virginia
loud. It
Beach hear
carries. It carries all the way to the yacht club.
I'd have to look to see if there's even any calls for service.
Oh, there's
there's
several.
calls.
There's an encyclopedia of calls.
A lot.
I think it would be 419.
What do you call the non-emergency?
It's
number?
yeah,
Oh,
but it's
I don't know if he.
there's
I can look up calls for service.
yeah. What's the address?
I think it's 419.
419.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Or
I don't know.
Is
It's
it-
almost like there's kids that just go outside and just crank up the stereo system and it just carries out over the water. I don't know if it's coming from the boat or the
Is it
house.
the new
or both.
houses?
Hmm?
The new houses around the corner from you?
419 here, that's it.
The newer ones that are in the corner that were built a few years ago.
No, it's a remodeled home. This is
Yeah,
a.
they're on the flag.
Right near you?
Yeah, it's
No,
Yes,
419.
things like that, like that's what this is
That's
for.
Yeah.
So, because otherwise, I never.
I didn't know if that's within your.
Yes, that's
Realm.
exactly what
Well,
I'm
I've got
talking
the
about.
I've got the whole sector. But
Okay.
like things like that don't show up.
Okay.
On our crime stats and things like that.
Okay.
Right.
But that's stuff I can go in and look and see and research and see who owns and.
Yeah, it's a.
It's next door to the tutor, the English tutor.
It's
Uh,
ridiculous.
Yeah, I haven't been in
Okay.
there, but it's from the water. I mean, it's.
I'll look and see.
I
what-
mean,
She just showed me it.
Mm.
Tutor.
I got you. I can look that up.
So we have a young man who's like made his home in the park, in the little playground out here. He sleeps there at night.
right out here.
And he, one morning though, I called the non-emergency number because I came down Cedar Level and I saw this like mound in the gravel parking lot. And then as I got closer, it was him. And he was wrapped up in what appeared to be a tent and his face was in the gravel. And his shoes were like 10 feet away from him. And he had like another bag and it was like 20 feet away from him. And I got closer to him. I says, "Are you all right?" He goes, "Hmm." And so I called the non-emergency number and continued walking with my dogs. And somebody answered the phone at the non-emergency number. I feel really, really good about that. And right away. And I called, I alerted them to it. And I got down to like Harrington. I came out of Harrington. I went down the southern end and I came out the northern end. And when I was coming out, I saw a fire truck come down and went into the parking lot. And a fireman got out and he had a walkie-talkie and went over to check on him. And then I was approaching the field at the time. And then all of a sudden I saw he got back in the truck and he left. And I went, "Oh, great. All right. So that's going to be all of it." Well, then as I got closer to the the lot itself, all of a sudden I heard a siren, and I walked back up Cedar Level, and then it was an ambulance that came and went down, and they passed me, and I went down there,
Right.
and they finally said, did we ever, I'm assuming he's okay, but now I guess you might have some information on him or something.
Yeah, I'll have to check the call and see what information they put in it.
Right.
But yeah, I don't have anything that's saying that he died or anything.
No, I know he didn't die, because he was
Yeah.
3 or about a week later, that's when I saw him. He was sleeping in the park, or in the playground rather. But it's been a reoccurring thing. Sometimes I see him just sitting on the bleachers, and then apparently, obviously, he needs help. But I mean, he's like all of maybe 20.
Right.
African American, young African American male, and I mean, you can tell he's
Right.
and he's living on the streets, and it's just like. Just want to let you know what that's been going on. So, but I mean, I don't know what he's involved in to where he was in that situation, face down in the gravel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
I got you.
okay.
And my daughter, they had somebody who went down the street, 318 Maycox. I get when you mentioned it, they did call the police. Breaking into cars, breaking in. My son-in-law ran out of the house, and the guy took off running toward the apartments across Little Creek Road. And then they called the police, and they were thefts. His mother's car was broken into, and money was taken. He caught him right before he broke into my daughter's car, but he was going down the street.
Did his mother report it?
He did. Yeah. They called the police came out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was surprised you didn't mention it. I was sitting here waiting to hear the minute.
How long ago? It wasn't before the last meeting, was it?
It was between the last meeting, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
See, he doesn't include this month, right?
I clued up until
This meeting? Okay.
Yeah. So if they called the police and the police came out and nothing was taken and they didn't want to file a report,
$100. She had about $100 and change.
I would have to look for it personally, like specifically that one, but
Yeah,
it doesn't show up on the crime group.
yeah, they didn't catch him. It must have been about 1 in the morning. So they said, watching the dog. 1:30 in the morning. Yeah, it's dark, the lights. I keep telling her.
We all live in Wexford
To
Terrace.
get those light bulbs put on. They cost
Chevy.
300 block of
Chevy, Chevy.
It's really dark.
What about you?
Well, I mean,
Yeah, you can throw it down on like one of the
I walked there.
Yeah.
We could.
Well,
but
part
no.
of the problem is the tree branches. The lights are on top of the tree branches. And they're not.
Yeah, our urban forestry is extremely behind in their tree cutting.
Because the light bulbs are there, it's just depends.
I had a neighbor in Riverview filed a request to have the city tree trimmed, and I think they said we'll get to in 2 to 3 years.
What?
Seriously?
These are those big oak trees, so the leaves.
Yeah, we
are-
can't see, there's a, on Ruthven, there's a stop sign. You can't see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ruth Finnan.
So we're on camera, so I can't tell you to go handle it
North
yourself.
Shore.
But,
Bob, you need a bucket truck to get up there.
well, yeah, don't do
Yeah,
that.
and not the wife, it's trip the street and branches. Stop signs.
All right,
Okay.
other questions?
All right.
All right, thank you, sir, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so those who came in late, already did the introduction, but the real quick bit again is Marcus and Katie are here from Commonwealth Preservation Group to talk about the Talbot Park apartments and renovations.
There you go. How's everybody doing?
Good.
So I'm Marcus Pollard, Katie Paulson, Commonwealth Preservation Group. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, knowing you guys have a lot going on tonight, but if there are questions at the end, I can definitely answer them. I'm going to focus on the National Register nomination, and Katie will talk about the actual project involving the work on the building. Time down.
Yep. I heard the motor.
There it goes, there it goes, there it goes, all right. There we go, okay, so, Top Park Apartments, these are part of, just so you guys know, we did what's called a multi-property document. There's a lot of complexity there, but basically, if you have a common type of resource that you'd like to list on the National Register, you can do this sort of umbrella document that makes it easier for individual resources to get listed. Probably the best known example of this in the state is for the Rosenwald schools, the early 20th century African American schools. There's an NPD, and it makes it easier to list the Rosenwald schools. So we did an NPD for garden apartments in the city of Norfolk. There were one time 16. I think there's 9 still existing. So this one is the one we're talking about, Talbot Park, 1942 to 43, about 11 acres. 33 contributing, 1 non-contributing. Contributing basically means it has enough of its integrity. It looks like it did when it was built to be contributing to. This is going to be technically an historic district, but unlike most historic districts, this has 1 owner. So there aren't a bunch of owners, aren't a bunch of properties. It's a single property, but it crosses streets, so it's technically a district.
Public streets, yeah.
What's going on? Sorry. There we go. All right. So this is an early plat, and these are some of the sample buildings. So there's 296 units, all of them what's called colonial revival style. That's just a very generic, popular in Virginia style of architecture. A lot of things fall under that umbrella of style. All of them have brick veneer, and even though there's a bunch of different types of buildings, they all have similar themes visually. So most of them are 2-story, 9-bay buildings, same size and scale. There are 3 that have a U-shaped layout. You can see that over on this one right here. Okay, and this is basically what I said before, 13 different building types. These are just a few of the examples. And the variations might be, they might have some coins on the corner. Those are the little indentations on the corner of the building. They might change their entry roof line, but all of them are pretty similar types of buildings. Inside, incredibly, a lot of them have their original woodwork intact. This is given to us years ago by a friend of mine, Bill Inge, who used to work down at the Norfolk Library. I don't know if you guys ever did research in this Sergeant Memorial Room. That's his mother living there when soon after they were built in the 1940s, actually. So she's there. There are a handful of them that still have these kitchen cabinets. Those are intact kitchen cabinets. And most of the public areas are intact as far as the tile and the woodwork. There she is again. But you can see the woodwork on the floors. Most of the floors are intact, hardwood floors. Some have carpet, but underneath the carpet, most of them have the hardwood floors. And this renovation, Katie talked about this, does have to maintain most or all of those historic features. So even though they'll be updating all kinds of mechanical and aesthetic aspects, they have to keep this historic material. So this is an image of the site overhead. Soon after, or I'm sorry, soon before construction. So the reason this was constructed and all the garden apartments were constructed was a huge housing boom during and after World War II. And they had to house all these people, and they put up all these apartment complexes. And Bernard Spiegel, who's one of the best known architects in the region, was the designer of this complex and several other complexes. He used FHA loans to insure the mortgages, which was real common back during the World War II period. And so it's 14 original garden complexes, and there are, I believe, 9 remaining. There's one here that was on Newport that got torn down, and then you have the new complex, the new apartments. That was another site of a garden stuff.
Are they in the upper right-hand corner?
Oh, yeah, sorry, they're there.
Okay. So
Sorry about that. And I already went over the multi-property document, but basically it focuses on community planning because these are what's called planned development. They lay them out in advance. They carefully plan how many units and where they're going to be and the spacing between them. And then also architecture because of the link to Spiegel and because they really represent a pretty intact type of resource, which is fairly rare and there aren't that many left from that time period. Period of significance is the time period when something is significant. Even though these have existed since 42, 43, they haven't changed much. So the period of significance is the construction period, if that makes sense. And there we are, Commonwealth preservation. So that closes out my portion. And do you have any questions on the nomination to the National Register before you hear about the project itself? Yes.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
So as this just has the one owner, is there like significant tax savings?
So,
The purpose for the-
there is a Norfolk program, if you get listed, and Katie, can you talk about that a little bit? Not really, yeah, but it's an abatement program with the city, but the big, there you go,
It's a full property tax abatement.
that's right,
For 10 years.
for 10 years. And, but the big reason they're using the tax credit program and using us is because they get a state tax credit of 25 and then a federal tax credit of 20%.
Sure.
And then they can either keep or probably syndicate or sell those tax credits. That helps finance the project.
How many apartments are in each building?
I'm not sure about each building. The total is 296 units.
It varies.
Yeah, there we go.
I think there's typically, in the smaller buildings, about 8 apartments, 4 on each floor, and then the larger ones have maybe 16. So there's 295 units across the 33 buildings in the complex.
And I think they'll keep the layout the same, right?
Yeah, they're keeping the layout. So just to kind of piggyback on Marcus's, since he's kind of shifting into my territory.
One individuals or those on?
You can go back maybe to some of the exteriors. That's perfect. So as Marcus said, they are seeking state and federal tax credits for this project. So we prepared the application form for that and worked that through the state and federal government for the property owner. But that's essentially an incentive program that allows historic projects to happen because a lot of times they come with more cost. So it also comes with a lot of requirements, such as being compliant with the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation. So as Marcus said, they're required to keep any remaining historic features as a result of going through this process. So the exteriors of the buildings will remain largely unchanged. It's essentially just a large maintenance project. They're replacing the roofs that need replacing. They're replacing windows that are damaged, exterior doors that are damaged, and then they're doing a lot of finish work on the interior where bathrooms and kitchens have sort of just been worked over a lot over the years, so they're giving those a nice refresh for the residents. But it's a pretty clean project from a preservation standpoint, and you won't see many major exterior changes to the character of the buildings as a result of the project.
What
And
about those
certainly-
interior stairwells? It looks like those probably don't meet the existing
So,
codes
so they might need to augment those
Yeah.
for height, which will,
for tread height.
Mhm. yeah, so that will
Rise
come
height.
kind of through our purview, and we'll review that and get
And
that.
closets, do they have closets? Because I don't think they used them back then.
They do have closets. Yeah, and the plans are remaining largely unchanged. They are inserting washer dryers into each unit. They don't currently have washer dryers. They have a laundry building currently, which I believe, last I heard, they're probably going to convert to a community room. And I think the other major change that you'll see, but they're kind of putting it in a secondary location, is the leasing office right now is kind of the first building you come to when you come off Granby Street onto Warren Street. It's like the first one on the right when you come in, and you have to access it up like 2 short runs of stairs. So they're actually flipping that because it's in a unit at the front of the building. They're moving it to the back so they can get ADA access into the leasing office. So there will be a ramp, but it's going to be kind of off the front side of the building, kind of retain that character of the streetscape and everything. Yeah.
This may not be a question for you guys, but are the rents now increasing? I mean, obviously the tax abatements help and syndication could help, obviously.
Right, I don't believe so.
Okay.
There might be some minor shift in rents, but it's currently low income, and I think it's
Right.
remaining so.
Yeah, okay.
There will be no change in that. It's not changing market rate, and there's no kind of increase in density. They're keeping the same unit count.
Right, okay.
Is there a certain income?
I am not sure.
I think it's all based on the Norfolk housing. Last time.
One nice thing about this program is it's an all or nothing program, so they really have to maintain these features and the renovations to all the buildings. They can't stop midway through and start ripping stuff out. It's all of it or none of it. So if they want their credits, they're going to keep the the level of restoration to the.
So will there be a plaque or signage or something posted that it's a historic district?
If they want to, they can put a flag, but there's not one that automatically happens. So they could put up signage if they want to.
What's the time schedule for completion from start to
I
completion?
have that in my office because I knew I wouldn't remember. They are anticipating being finished by January of 2027. And so they'll phase the project, so they're not doing everything at once. They're doing about 8 buildings per phase. So they'll fully renovate 8 buildings and then move on to another section and do those 8.
And,
There will
and
be 4 phases.
what will they do with the current residents in the building? What's that?
They do have some vacant units in some of the buildings. I think the intent is if they want to stay, they can probably accommodate some within the buildings that aren't being renovated. But beyond that, I'm not sure if they have an arrangement for that. I do think that many of the residents plan to stay, last I heard. But that's a little bit, that's outside of our purview.
You mean stay in the
complex
while it's being
I
renovated?
think if they can move to a unit that elsewhere in the
They'll
complex.
shift them.
They'll shift them around, yeah. Because I think there's a couple of buildings that are currently vacant at the moment. So.
Amazing, they're still standing after 80-some years.
No, it's just,
All right.
you have more to throw in there? or-
No, that's basically it. I'm happy if you have any questions.
No, I met with you all when we all met at Quads and talked about, or were you guys there?
We weren't there. That was the.
That was the owners.
Yeah.
The owners were there, and
Yeah.
then there was an investment guy there, right?
I'm not sure. We were not there. So.
That was
Yeah.
just a sales.
Well, they got it done.
So mechanical, electrical, is that doing updates?
Yes.
Central?
Mhm. It is.
So you guys are with the,
Commonwealth Preservation Group or the Historic Tax Credit Consultant.
oh, okay.
So we get it listed on the National Register, and then we help them make sure they don't make any mistakes and lose their credits.
Right.
Okay.
And so this project, part of the local review process is it goes through the Architectural Review Board, which it actually already went through them in July and was approved. But they always want us to meet with the civic leagues as part of that process. So you guys are up to date on what's happening. So that's why we're here. We just had some scheduling difficulties. The timing was not quite right with you guys having summers off. So I'm glad we could make it out.
Do we know when they're gonna start? I don't know if I heard that.
I think they're starting early 2025. They
Oh,
haven't
okay.
yet. I don't think they've closed yet. So actually, I think they're supposed to close this month.
All right, well, thank you both.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You guys do want to follow the National Register process. This will be on the State Review Board meeting in either March or June, and then probably be listed by the National Park Service sometime before the end of 2025.
So does the city have anything, any project page or anything like that?
No, that's something I usually emphasize, but because there's only one owner, it's less of an issue. But the National Register doesn't do anything to control property. So
No, not to control it. I meant just in terms of just to say here, this is what's being done. I mean, at one point, the city was involved in this. So, I mean, there was
from a permitting standpoint,
Yes.
yeah, definitely. But the National Register process is a state and federal process.
Okay.
Now, you can have local historic districts. You have those in Ghent and places,
Right.
but this is not that. So. All right. Well, thank you all so
both.
much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I may shuffle our agenda slightly. Jeremy, I know you gotta get out of here like 2 minutes. Well, actually, that clock's fast. So you have like 30 seconds, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to say something quick.
Yeah, it's
before-
7 o'clock. There you go.
Sure, yeah. Is that okay for me to do it now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Jeremy McGee. I'm running for Norfolk City Council Superward 6. I've come here a few times. How many of you have heard from me already? Some of you are like real tired when you look at me. Sorry for that. So I will give you the super quick version because I do have to go to another civic league that I haven't been to yet. My background, I am a lifelong entrepreneur and small business owner. I grew up in South Carolina, started a business while I was attending college at the University of South Carolina. It was a family-focused internet service. It eventually grew to be one of the largest family-focused internet services in the country. I sold that to a company in Norfolk in 2005, and I moved here. And at the time, I expected to stay a year and then move away. And 20 years later, you can see how well that plan has worked. I quickly fell in love with the area. I was in my 20s, lived on Granby Street, right above the 219. Got involved in the community, and then also continued building a number of businesses here in Norfolk. So in terms of community involvement, I've been a Civic League president for a number of years, served on the board of Visit Norfolk. I've been a member of Architectural Review Board, and then I've been serving on Planning Commission for almost 3 years now. In fact, I've been here as a planning commissioner as well. In terms of businesses, my wife and I have started a couple. The most notable is 411 York, a fine dining restaurant and boutique inn in Freemason. And if you haven't been, we'd love for you to come. I'm here campaigning and promoting the business. So 411, it was the process of opening 411 that caused me to get a little bit more interested in city government. So as we navigated City Hall, some of the bureaucracy, I felt like there needed to be more small business representation on our boards, on our commissions, and ultimately on City Council. And so that's what led me to get involved with ARB. That's what led me to get involved with Planning Commission. In terms of just a couple of quick nuggets on the campaign. So my campaign has been focused on moving Norfolk forward. That means a lot, and a lot more than we can cover in 3 minutes. But the couple of the highlights that I've really been talking a lot about is starting with safety. So the data shows that I think our city's getting safer. I'm excited about that, celebrate that. But I also see our opportunities to keep pushing forward. Since I've kicked off my campaign, I've had personal experiences that remind me of some of the work we have to do in our city with gun violence, property crime, traffic enforcement. And I think part of those are a product of a smaller police force. We've been able to build those numbers up a little bit, but we're still much lower than we once were. I will be absolutely committed to supporting our police, both from a staffing perspective and from a funding perspective, but also from a technology perspective, so they can do more with less. And then also making sure we're building a world-class culture at City Hall that allows us to attract and retain those workers. It's a lot of time and attention also gets spent on police and first responders. I think when I was here last time, I shared a story about 911 as well. I think you made a reference about our non-emergency. We had an incident in our restaurant where we had a guest that was choking, ended up having to go to the hospital while we were on hold with 911. They ultimately ended up losing their life. So we had to transport them in a guest car, got them to the hospital. They were on life support for a few days and ended up passing away. When I kicked off this campaign, 911 was about 40 employees short of full capacity. So full capacity is 90. We were at about 50. Hats off to our mayor and Martin and other city council members. They've made big changes in that area since this early part of this year. Hiring bonuses, retention bonuses, changes of leadership. I hope that's a problem that's fully resolved by the time I get an opportunity to serve. But if it's not, it's the type of problem I will be absolutely relentless in pursuing solutions for. Other two quick areas, and then I'll get out of your hair. So the other that I've spent a lot of time talking about is strengthening neighborhoods. And for me, strengthening neighborhood is just basic city services, the services that we depend on city government to providing those services with excellence. So lighting, sidewalks, infrastructure, traffic enforcement, again, code enforcement, upkeep of our parks, upkeep of our open spaces, upkeep of our medians, just general cleanliness of our city, taking care of our city, taking care of our roads, making sure that we're providing good customer service to you. When you open a ticket for Norfolk Cares, I want you to feel like Norfolk actually cares. And you got an open ticket that hasn't been responded to. I've been on the campaign circuit now since February, and I just hear consistent concern about these basic services and how they affect quality of life and property values. And I want you to know that I'm hoping to earn an opportunity to be your council member that makes sure that they get the attention and the focus that they deserve. I hear a lot of concern about, are we spending too much time on big economic development projects and losing sight of the basics? We got to move those economic development projects forward, but we also got to make sure we're providing good quality service to you, the taxpayers of Norfolk. Final area I'll close on is just making our city more business friendly. That's what got me motivated to get involved. I can tell you we've got work to do to make our city an inviting place for entrepreneurs to open and expand businesses here. I've been talking about that everywhere I go, even when I'm talking to folks that I know are not business owners, because a city that is more business friendly has more restaurants to eat at, has more places to shop. It's part of the way we get Ward's Corner more vibrant and storefronts filled. A city that's more business friendly has more tax revenue that we can put into schools, into safety, into strengthening neighborhoods. And a city that's more business friendly also has more jobs. And so I'm absolutely committed to working on that, streamlining processes, making sure we have a culture at City Hall that starts with yes. As someone who's gone through those processes myself, as someone who's been a part of those processes on Planning Commission, I've developed, I think, a helpful perspective in terms of what's working in our city for businesses and what's not working. So, yes, absolutely.
Before you leave?
Yes.
Will you promise to come to our task force meetings? You know, Andrew McClellan rarely showed up. And before that, we had Barkley Wynn, and he came to every meeting. So if you're going to be investing, we need you to invest yourself.
That is the business.
Yeah.
Ward's Corner.
Yeah, absolutely. I have attended those in the past, and I will absolutely attend them going forward. I am committed to making sure that I'm hopefully a council member that's representing the full Superward, and it's not lost on me that there are parts of our Superward, including Ward's Corner and some of this here, that haven't had the love that other parts of our Superward have over the years. So I'm committed to doing my part and bringing about solutions on that. And I think the other thing I'll say on that front is, you know, my track record is one of being engaged and involved, right? So you don't have to take my word for it. There's 20 other people that have endorsed me and are supporting me, including all of the elected officials all of the elected officials that represent Superward 6 today. Andrea, and even Barkley Wynn also is endorsing me as well. So, okay, other questions?
Are you running unopposed?
I am not running unopposed. I'm glad you asked. Not only do I have an opponent, I have an opponent that has a confusingly similar name. So my name is Jeremy McGee. I will be the first Jeremy on the ballot, but there will be two Jeremys on the ballot. So my opponent is also named Jeremy and also has a name that starts with him. So I don't know what I did to deserve that, but
What is it?
it's Jeremy Mason.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So remember, if there's anything I've said that resonates, I will be the first Jeremy on the ballot, and I will leave you some materials that have my name on it as well. Okay. Anything else for me? Thank you so much for the opportunity
No,
to
absolutely. Yep.
work back in.
All right, appreciate it.
Give you some.
All right, thank you, Jeremy. Yeah, election day is
November 6th.
2 weeks and a day away.
Fifth.
Thank you. All right. Rick, which one do you want to talk first, or?
We're together. I mean, like.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm Sarah DiCalogero.
Yeah, I'll get to you
Perfect.
just after that. Yeah, we get them to go. I'm hoping they would be too long, but
Oh, too quick.
I won't.
Yes.
Override.
No, I'm gonna take you some.
Thank you.
All right, so they're here to talk about the new pump station specifically. And Rick can also, I think, speak to some of the general work happening in the area.
Yeah, we'll go on pump station 27 first, which is right off of 101 North Shore Road off of Granby Street. And we bought the house, the city of Norfolk bought the house and demoed the house right next to it probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. This project has been, it's much needed. It's finally actually at 90 to 100% plans, and it's been on the back burner for a couple of years because of funding and other issues. Don't want to get into that, but it's finally going to happen, which is great. It needs to be replaced. The schedule is at the earliest it's going to start is probably the summer to fall of construction of next year, and it's going to last about 1.5 years. Great thing is we already have the property acquired right next door. That's where the new station is going to go. And then once the new station is up and running, this existing station will still obviously be running the entire time while the new station is being built. Once everything's all in service, this will be demolished, and then that art sculpture is going to be made sure. We're coordinating with one of the departments to make sure that it gets the lighting it needs, because I know Vice Mayor Thomas stated that to me like 6, 7 years ago, and that's all been on the track record. So Aracadis, Jason, we all know about that.
He's talking about the Ward's Corner Flying Bird thing in
Yeah.
there. Right?
So this,
Remove it where you can actually.
yeah,
walk
the
up to
electrical
it.
fee is gonna make sure it's all lit and everything, so. So that's really kind of the basis, and I'll let Jason go on a couple of just maybe architectural details. So.
Yeah, I can do that. I'm Jason Roberts. I'm a civil engineer for City of Norfolk. I'm part of a design team where engineers and architects working on this. So the main goal has been to blend functionality with our hydraulic requirements, right? So as you can see, brick facade, we're going to match the existing buildings as best we're able. There's vinyl white trim. Everything. We have faux windows. These are for air exchange for any kind of wastewater pump station. This is required, as well with the chimney. So additional items, we're going to have proposed landscaping. This is going to be pending site plan review, but it's going to be very beautiful. And these have been selected. They have minimally invasive roots for the underground utilities in place. So functionality with aesthetics. In terms of impacts to residents, very, very minor. So construction should go 18 months. The right-of-way within the roadway works can be minimized. So we're avoiding deep excavations where we're able. Deep excavations means more time.
Everybody's used to many streets disrupted.
Right.
And these projects, this is just one small area.
One small area. We're just gonna get in and out as quick as we're able.
Well, the one out here, I mean, you dug like 30 feet down. Right.
The existing station mean?
The one that's out here.
Oh, yeah, that was about 25 feet down.
Yeah.
So this is probably about similar too.
Okay, all right,
That depth, we're gonna be on site though.
okay.
So there's actually what's called a drop manhole.
It's not gonna be 2 stories though, is it?
No.
Oh, no, well, it'll be 2 stories, but it'll be buried, so it'll just be a 1-story building from the front.
Yeah, what you see is 1 story, yeah. And it's supposed to go through Architecture Review Board, and they just designed another station similar, further north in Norfolk, so they kind of got the same type feedback. And I know every area is a little bit different, some of the board, what their comments, but we're gonna do that as well.
Any concerns about, I don't know, construction? We've included clauses to minimize construction traffic. There's measures in place to allay dust from constructions.
Why are there's an outdoor auxiliary pump there, right?
The bypass pump?
Yes.
Yeah, the bypass pump.
Same.
Looks like that's going towards Granby Street. Is that a more desirable situation than, or is that going to be like over the plot of where the existing station is right now? Is that what you were talking about?
No, all of it's gonna be on the 107 North Shore.
Right.
And then all of, correct me if I'm wrong, all of 101 is gonna be demolished. And then for a few,
Oh, and that's where the sculpture's going to go.
yeah, and that's gonna be a future pump station too, like 100 years from now. Like we just had,
Right.
it's always good because it's such a small site. The whole goal for utilities is to buy a property that is, or have a property that is bigger where you can flip, still have an existing station ongoing so you don't disrupt any sewage service, and then just flip it right over.
Okay.
The connection point will be on North Shore Road. We won't be disturbing Granby.
Okay.
Yeah, not to sound like Nancy guy here, but so what I'm seeing now is you guys have construction, this is gonna be under construction, and that's gonna be under construction. I don't think you guys are gonna be messing with those guys, but deconflicting the multiple constructions that are gonna start in 2025 and run through 2027. So I'm just, have you guys, anybody talked to anybody yet besides you? Because this is gonna be torn down and gone in 25, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, you notice that
I know where it's at.
No, I'm saying the finish date on this is before this will be completed, so.
It's finished in 2025?
No, we're gonna start in the summer to fall of
This doesn't finish
2025,
until
and it'll be
27.
Yeah, it'll be.
We'll be doing it at the same time. is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's all the same time.
It's the same street. I'm just trying to deconflict, see if people are talking to each other and deconflicting.
Yeah, majority of this construction is all going to be on City of Norfolk property, so a lot of the right of way won't be disturbed.
Okay.
Compared to, like I said, when you see other sewer projects going on right now, like Little Creek.
Yeah, no, yours is a
Very
minimal impact.
Correct, yeah.
But I'm just trying to.
You're worried about access to North Shore?
Nah, I don't know what you're like. I'm just making the point, like, I don't know if anybody else has been talking to each other. It looks like we got 3 projects that just got announced, we know one's been announced, and we've got 2 other ones that are going down. And they're both gonna be on these 2 streets, so.
Good thing is we're finishing that one right up. Ahead of schedule. That's going to be done probably by the end of the year at the latest. So That was a lot of work. That was a $9 million project.
Which one?
All down Newport Avenue,
Right,
down
Newport,
Warren, Remsen.
The planned one.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
right,
planned
right.
one from, yeah, that was finished.
And then the unplanned one, I think is supposed, Little Creek is supposed to be done. I mean, I see them pouring concrete. I mean, I think.
One right now that's ongoing.
Yes.
Yeah, that should be done. Gabriel, my other PM, he's right next door to me. I get updates from him because he's the PM on it. But that should be done before by Thanksgiving. Should be. Bridgman Civil was our main.
Thanksgiving this year.
Yes, this year.
Just checking.
Yes, this year.
Yeah.
That was one of your main questions on that?
No.
Okay, got another.
I got something that's
I can't
been
even-
bugging me for years.
Okay. You want to talk
Since the
after?
last time you came.
No, years ago. Because I called Norfolk Cares and they don't get it.
They don't care.
No, they don't get it. They can't pinpoint where I'm talking about. I'm gonna show them.
Okay. Is there any other input you want to make?
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
The site plan, if anyone's interested.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah.
You brought it.
Yeah, go ahead. Got an engineer over here. She likes him.
Which one?
Architect.
Architect, sorry.
Okay.
Well, thank you. Private viewing.
The text is just kind of like area, just photos existing.
An architect would read all the notes.
Well, it's long overdue. I was walking my dog one day and the pump that was out there, it blew up. It went pow! There was a big puff of smoke.
Oh,
And my dog was like,
yeah, that's been out there for a while, right?
Key takeaways, that pump's going away.
So I said, oh boy, I guess that pump's going down.
All that, you won't see it, you're gonna have the standby bypass.
Yeah, it was really loud. It was
Yeah, that's
whining and
the one
everything.
that's been there.
Which streets does this, or what area does this pump serve compared to like this one?
Pump station 27 goes all the way down to the hospital because it has 7 pump stations that go into a pipe that goes up north to on Granby Street. So there's like I think, is there 9 total stations in 27?
I think there's 7 downstream,
Yeah,
but
7 downstream. And it even goes a little bit to the east of Granby Street by Suburban Parkway.
Okay.
So it's just a very large area.
it's actually the
And
word.
then we took off a third to half the flow with the 150. So it's just 27 is one of the biggest stations in the Department of Utilities, all in
And
all.
it feeds what facility? Sure.
Ultimately to the Atlantic Treatment Plant.
Which is where?
So they HRC.
It's HRSD.
Behind ODU or down?
No, sir, that's,
Just a bit.
What's
just
it
like
like?
that. No, it's not that one. It's, do you know
No, that's
Ocean
fine.
Lakes High School in Virginia Beach? It's out that area.
Really?
Yeah, all the way
Wow.
across town, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It doesn't go to that. I thought it goes to.
Okay.
Oh, we did get transportation. You're right. It's the Chesley, because Chesley is up by the Ocean View. That got decommissioned, so, okay.
That's crazy.
Faster
and more.
That's a long way.
We ship all our trash.
Yeah, I guess.
The sewers get larger and larger.
Yeah.
The pumps get bigger and bigger.
Right.
Any other questions? I know you guys got busy agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Tom.
you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna-
Little Creek open up.
Yeah, should be.
Hey, real quick, the other part of Little Creek down towards the Meadow.
Yeah, there you go.
Do you know when that's supposed to, like, that part of
Oh,
Little
the
Creek?
Meadowbrook child,
Do you have any idea?
I think this is Megan, I can get it, I can shoot you an email.
Okay.
I don't know the schedule, but it's one of our other PMs, I believe.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Yep,
Thank you.
thanks. Y'all have a good one.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Yeah, trying to get from Walmart to like Hampton Boulevard. Just like 2 lanes, 1 lane, 2 lanes, 1 lane, 2 lanes, 1 lane.
Oh, that, and it's dangerous. right?
Okay, Sarah, you ready? All right, so Sarah is here, one of our candidates for school board for Superward 6. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. How many people in here have some sort of connection to Norfolk Public Schools? Whether you graduated, you have a child, grandchild, niece, nephew, some people. So for the rest of you, I have to convince you why you should care about school board. Because some people just doesn't affect them personally. They don't. But our strong public schools bring businesses into our communities, which can enhance our tax base, which can just lead to good things in the city. So a little bit about me. I am an educator. I've been in education for 22 years. I never meant to be an educator. I finished graduate school. I have a master's degree in statistics. I went working for a consulting company. I got stuck in Boston on September 11th. Had to do some deep soul searching because when I got back, we got reamed out because we didn't bill enough hours on Monday. And Tuesday the world kind of blew up. And I spent a lot of time, what do I like about my job? What gets me up in the morning? And it was when I was teaching and doing trainings. So I quit my job in the spring. This summer, I spent an ODU's Career Switchers program. And on the first anniversary of 9/11, I was a high school math teacher at Maury High School. And I stayed there until I had my first child. We tried to work out a job share, couldn't get it working. And I started as an adjunct for Talbot Community College part-time. And for the last 17 years, I've been a full-time professor at Talbot Community College in downtown Norfolk. And in that role, currently, I am the faculty senate chair for the college. And the faculty senate represents all the faculty. I sit at the president's table. I try to bring the faculty concerns in a way that's constructive and also explain to the faculty what the administration is thinking in a way that is constructive for everybody. It doesn't always work that way, but that is the hope. So I've had some experience that I think will be crucial on the school board. So what is my areas of focus? 3 things. Empowering our teachers. That means acknowledging them as the educational experts in the room. Norfolk has started to pay competitively. Really, as of this year, we are competitive with other school districts. I will tell you, when I worked for Norfolk about 20 years ago, I was a young, fresh teacher, didn't have a ton of experience, had a mentor the entire year after ODU's programs, which was very helpful. And other young teachers would come into NPS. There's like a whole group of us. And after 2 or 3 years, everybody started trickling off. They would go out to Virginia Beach or Chesapeake, somewhere that was going to pay them $5,000 to $8,000 more a year. And the discipline issues wouldn't be so big. So Norfolk has, after 2 decades, figured out that we have to pay competitively, and we are starting to pay competitively in this city. The teachers who have stuck it out are really heroes, in my opinion. We also have the problem that we have too many long-term subs in our schools. We have some schools with only 3 accredited teachers, but those long-term subs are also heroes. They get professional development weekly. They are invested in the schools. Norfolk has started an associate teachers program, and if you have a bachelor's degree and you are interested in teaching, you will get PD, professional development, all through the year, help with your practice exams, which are state licensures exams, and we are trying to build our own teaching force from within. So these are positive things that are going on in Norfolk now. But 45% of our schools are not fully accredited. Some are accredited with warning. We had a downward slide started about 2016 before COVID. We can't blame COVID on everything. COVID made it worse, but we kept kids home. We gave them iPads and Chromebooks. We still had a hard time connecting with those kids. I used to run a pod out of my house where my daughter's 2 friends would come over and then we would work together. And it was interesting because they didn't like coming to my house because I made them accountable and I made them do the work. Whereas some other houses, they got to just kind of goof off all day. But that's me. In a nutshell, that kind of gives you where I'm coming from and what I'm thinking. I'm a proud Norfolk resident for 26 years. My husband and I lovingly bought a fixer-upper in Ghent in 2021. And we are still fixing that house up, and we'll be fixing it up until we get rid of it. I have raised 3 girls in Norfolk Public Schools. I'm proud to say that my oldest is a graduate of NPS and is in her 2nd year at the University of Virginia. So you can really get a first-class education in Norfolk. You may need an advocate. I was there. I was in the schools. I was on PTAs. I ran PTAs. You know, I volunteered in the classrooms. I was there to advocate for my kids, but I was lucky. My kids are bright. They didn't always need it. They didn't need an advocate like some kids do. And I want to be that advocate for the kids whose parents just simply can't. And no judgment. It could be a single working parent. It could be a 2-parent working household that just can't take off in the middle of the day. I mean, I have the greatest mom job in the world. I get to choose when I teach my classes. So I can choose to teach my classes around my kids' schedule, so I can be there. And I can be there for our students in Norfolk. The other thing, there's 3 things, is engaging parents in the community. Norfolk does a decent job of telling parents things. They don't do a very good job at engaging the parents back. And that engagement means bringing parents into schools and bringing community organizations into our schools that want to actually help. I met a great group of women over in East Beach last week, and more than half of them had either applied for a substitute teaching job or tried to be a volunteer for Norfolk Public Schools. They filled out the volunteer online form, passed a background check, never got a call. One who wanted to substitute teach had questions, called the number that says, if you have questions, call this, call twice, never got a phone call back. We have community organizations that want to get into some of our low performing schools and provide things like aftercare and tutoring that simply cannot get their foot in the door. We are cutting up our nose to spite our face, really, in Norfolk. We are not bringing that community in. Now, is it fear? I don't know. Some schools are fearful of people knowing what goes on in the schools. I absolutely believe that. But there are other schools that have their doors wide open. Is Northside your middle school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
For now.
For now.
Till the district redraws it.
Till we redraw. Well, we have a lot of students at Blair, where my daughters went, that are pulled in from other areas of the city. And I will tell you this, the current principal of Blair, Patrick Doyle, he says yes. A group wants to come in and paint, he says yes. Navy sailors want to come in and stand in the lunchroom, he says yes. And unfortunately, that saying yes is at the school level and there's no push from administration to make us say yes rather than no. The last area is preparing our students. We have a literacy problem in Norfolk. Norfolk has a bad reputation among other school districts in the area, but again, I believe you can get a fantastic education in Norfolk. You just might have to work a little bit harder to get it. We need to expand to pre-K3 in all our schools. We need to get young children in for high quality, not just daycare, but high quality learning. There's studies that have shown the more words that a child is exposed to at a very young age, the higher their literacy levels are. We also need to have checkpoints along the way. There's a lot of kids going into middle school that still read at a 2nd and 3rd grade level. They cannot be successful unless we get them at the level that they need to be at. And then preparing them for what's next. I teach at Talbot Community College. I teach a class of intro statistics, and I teach a co-requisite class for that intro statistics for students who are not quite college ready. Out of the 27 in my main class, 17 or 18 of them are in my co-requisite class. So I'm not only trying to teach them 100-level statistics, I'm trying to teach them to solve equations and understand how to convert from a percentage to a decimal. You would think I was talking another language half the time. And they are just simply not always prepared. And that preparation might mean that they're not ready for college. even though I teach at a college, I don't necessarily think everybody needs to go to college right away. We have skilled trades. The two-year schools around here have fantastic programs. TCC has solar, wind, welding, shipbuilding. There's a lot of opportunities to expose our students to that. And while we have VOTEC, the offerings are relatively limited, and we don't introduce that to our students in the 9th or 10th grade when they might really show an interest into that. So the last thing, because I don't want to keep you, is dual enrollment. Does anybody know what AP classes are? Do you know what dual enrollment classes are? Good. This is a very important crowd. So in Portsmouth last year, 50 students graduated with an associate's degree the month before they got their high school diploma. 50. You know how many were in Norfolk? And they largely did it on their own without the support of Norfolk Public Schools. We need to expand those types of opportunities because AP classes are really meant for the A students, right? The high achieving A students. Dual enrollment can appeal to those good kid B, C students who don't know if they're going to be successful, and it can give them a taste of what success might look like for the future. So again, I'm Sarah DiCalogero. I hope to earn your vote for the school board seat. And if you have any questions, let me know. Yeah.
So I've been a college professor a long time, just not from here. What would you do to get the middle school students that are 2nd and 3rd grade reading learning?
Get them up?
Yeah, because here's the issue that I see. Everybody complains about the schools, but the schools have the children 8 hours a day. They're somewhere else 16 hours a day. And there's no way that you can combat the 16 hours in your 8 hours while doing what you're supposed to be doing with your 8 hours anyway.
Right.
And I had the misfortune of starting off my teaching career teaching college writing, which asked the room, who wants to be here? 1 or 2 people raised their hand.
Same thing in a math class.
Right, exactly. So I know you can relate. If you can't tell me what a subject and verb is, there's no way in 16 weeks I'm going to have you writing at a freshman level. We're set up for failure.
We are set up for failure.
And that's one of the reasons I went back to nurse practitioner school. That and the wages. But, that to me is what I see as the problem. Is not the 8 hours they're in school necessarily, although it can be a problem.
Yes.
It's the 16 hours they're away. So, and it's the, do they come to school hungry?
Well, actually,
Norfolk
has free breakfast and lunch for all students. So we at least know that our kids are getting 2 meals a day. And my daughters take advantage of it, even though they don't need to. But we don't know what's going on at home at night, right? We don't know if they've had a meal or if they're coming to school hungry, but at least while they're there, there's no putting your special number in at the lunch counter. It's just simply you go get breakfast, you go get lunch. And that is relatively new in Norfolk, and I think it's a wonderful thing. But again, to your point, how do we catch them up? Well, I think part of that is catching them when they're in 2nd, 3rd grade. And that is really where community programs could help with tutoring, with people coming in and reading with students. But my girlfriend who teaches 6th grade, she's seeing a turn in the last couple of months that they're coming in more ready for grade level. But again, she still has those students that need to catch up. And personally, I think maybe we need to turn education on its head a little bit. Don't send them to all the classes. Have them be intensive, spend their 8 hours intensively learning how to read first, and then send them back to their general classes. Because if they can't read, they can't do anything. And you had a comment?
I was just for pre-K 4, Is that just first come, first served? They only have a certain amount? I mean, that's not open to everyone, is it? In the
It's
city?
more open than it was, but it is still not open to everyone.
So we don't have pre-K 3 and then we have limited pre-K.
We have
4,
some schools with pre-K 3 and pre-K 4.
but not many.
Not
But
many.
if you call down, they tell you they don't have pre-K 3, because I had a neighbor who said, I thought you said they had pre-K 3, and she called all over and she was told by the Downton School Board there was no pre-K program, pre-K 3 program.
There's at least one special
Yeah, for
preschool,
school, right.
Easton. But that's why I'm advocating for pre-K 3.
Because then those children didn't get any program. They're going to kindergarten where the other children have attended.
What are you doing about, or thinking of doing about instructor safety? Because I have probably 6 teachers that are I practice psychiatry, probably 6 teachers that are my patients that are absolutely terrified.
Well,
to go work.
I'm the 7th one because
You want a card? I need a card. We're putting a group together.
So I practice active shooter drills in my classroom a couple times in the semester. My kids think I'm crazy, but we're at the downtown Norfolk campus and we're at open access. Every door is open. Anybody can walk in off the street, can do whatever they want. The security guard's not going to stop them. So I, in my classroom, can lock the door. I can't turn off the lights, but I can lock the door. I have a stream of colored paper right next to the window that can easily be put over the window. It's crazy, but I worry about safety every day. I worry about my kids' safety every day, to be honest. And I just have to turn off that corner of my brain that worries so much. I worry about the safety of my friends who are teachers. You know, the shooting down in Georgia, and this is what I actually would like to see. The shooting down in Georgia, and I think 2 students were killed, and it was right at the beginning of school. And I can't remember exactly the name of the city because they all just run together. They actually had on their ID cards a panic button. And the teachers had a panic button on their ID cards that if they hit it a couple of times, it said, like, have an unruly student. If I hit it 5 times or so, it says emergency lockdown. And anybody in the school has the ability to lock down the school. That saved lives. The police officers were there within 2 minutes, the school resource officers.
Yeah, I don't know why that hasn't been more common. I have that in my office because of ratio of population, right?
Right.
You press the button, it's 911.
Right.
You know, they're coming when you.
Right.
Do I have to pay for it? Yeah. Is
Yeah,
it gonna
it's
be
about
worth it if we ever need it. Oh, yeah.
It's about $7,000 a year per school that implements that system, that particular system. It's tragic or something.
How many school board members are elected?
7. So
What's the term?
4 years.
So you have lots of good ideas. How do you get your ideas promoted above? Are they all new this year?
Well, I have some advocates already on the school board, some people that are pulling for me. There will be 3 new school board members this year, which basically out of 7 is pretty much we're going to have a new board. One of them, are you guys Ward 5?
No, we're
Ward 1. So Adele is your school board member. Ward 5, there's a gentleman running unopposed, Ron Paulson, so he will most likely win the seat. Ward 6 and 7, the super wards are up this year, and then the geographically based wards are up in 2 years. I believe in consensus building. I believe in picking up the phone and having a phone call that you don't necessarily want to have written down in an email. I believe that we can work with city council. We do have joint meetings with city council, and I think that we need to put pettiness aside and figure out how to do the work that we need to do for the schools. I have been attending school board meetings off and on for years, but I've been trying to get to more recently. And you can see sometimes the infighting that goes on in the school board. And I'm a straight shooter. I get really frustrated with people talking, making deals behind each other's back. I'll call you out. And I'll say, how do we work together? So that's just me. It's gotten me in trouble sometimes in my younger years, but it has been really beneficial now. I use those skills when I'm as a faculty senate chair. But I don't know, city council will have 2 new council members. We'll have 2 years. I do know that a few people are not planning to rerun on the school board. So really, we might have a fully turned over school board in 2026. Yes, sir.
Requests, if you do get elected.
Yes.
Public comments have been not televised anymore from the meetings.
Really?
Yes, if the public comes in and we go in and make comments at the school board, it used to be televised. It used to be brought out so everybody can understand, hear what was televised. The board has locked that down and does not allow that to be propagated to residents.
Well, that's strange because it's recorded.
It's recorded, it's not being, not that portion.
Well, then I was not aware because.
Some, I mean, some.
No, I was not aware, and I think that's totally unacceptable.
I feel like that's hiding stuff, and I understand, we all got, if we're not doing the right job, then we're not doing the right job, and just
Yeah.
on that, but this is, yeah, if you could do that, that would be great.
Well,
Have my vote.
I think I just have the first thing on my agenda because I'm going to ask why we're doing that because public school board meetings are meant to be public.
Yeah.
And that's not acceptable to keep that out of the public.
And the rest of the thing is televised, not that part.
I do know there was some concern about calling out specific members, but last year there was a teacher who ended up getting put on administrative leave who came up and like laid it all out there. And she taught at Norview. And that was televised because that went viral. So I'm very surprised that they've locked that down.
I think it was after that.
Yeah, it was definitely after that because everyone saw that clip.
That might have been the one that didn't work.
It might have been, but that's just, to me, is unacceptable. Anything else? Well, I really appreciate your
I'll
time.
make one. I'll make the same request to you that I make of all the school board reps. And I think they've all heard this before, but the communications that get sent out.
I know
you already know where this is going. Yes.
As a parent,
I'm like, if there's any way that I can say yes to like
texting and
my
no to-
school bus was in an accident, but no to like pre-K advertisements because I don't have any children that are going to be doing pre-K like ever again, right? Like that'd be great to like make the messages more targeted, not just a
You don't need
blanket,
to
I get 'em
know
every
50
day, 6
times
o'clock.
that the lunchroom is, they're looking for staff in the lunchroom.
Yeah, or that they asked me to take a survey and I took it and then I get called 3 more times to take the survey.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're over communicating but not engaging. Right. Yes, sir.
Sorry, another follow-up. For those who have not been on the MPS website in the last decade, please get it to be something workable, because it's like, there's stuff that's like super out of date.
And it's hard to find anything.
Oh,
Yeah, you can't find anything. And when I'm trying to advocate for the city of Norfolk with, as a real estate agent with people moving here, there's no way I can do it and send them to.
Well, I will take
the
that back
website.
to the school board regardless if I get elected.
Absolutely. $500 webmaster could
Those are
probably.
Yeah,
do that.
I was looking for the community school model because all community schools are where you provide wraparound services, not just for the students, but for the community. So healthcare, social services, food insecurity, all of that. And I was trying to find out how Norfolk was doing that. And I searched high and low. Well, what I found out is we're not doing that. We're calling it something else. And we're not engaging the community, but that's a whole story for another day.
There's a beautiful book that we saw from another school board representative, all of the plans and all the things that happen and nothing seems to happen. So
It seems to be very, I mean, I will tell you that the school board is now has dedicated to spend 50% of their time on student outcomes and not adult outcomes, not what's going on with the students, but they just decided that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of things I can't answer unless I get in there.
Well, it's a very scary problem, and I see it on the ground where we do not have people moving in.
Right.
With families, with children,
Right.
which is going to be an absolute issue for the city, but they're definitely filling in at the cities around us, to include Portsmouth.
Right.
So when Portsmouth is outpacing us for desirable schools,
yeah.
I find that to be pretty interesting. I have people that are flocking to Churchland.
Yeah.
Because of schools.
Well, if we don't have accredited schools.
Well, I mean, it would be very difficult.
That's the base right there. We gotta get the schools accredited.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where I think the community plays such a big part, because that other 16 hours a day, like if we can support programs that are already existing in the community and make them stronger, like the Boys and Girls Club, those kids have somewhere to go that's safe and nurturing after school rather than just be outside doing nothing.
Well, and the Life Enrichment Center loves to bring their volunteers in all the time. I volunteered with them, but I think it's going to take active change management in order for you to
I would
get
agree with that too.
parents to buy back into the school system at this point. They're so, I mean, I have a client here in Ward's Corner who wants to sell her house and move out just because of the schools.
Yeah. And that happens where I live too. Where I live, people tend to have more choices about private school.
Yeah.
But once we decided to have free children, I knew we had to be close to a good school, and I knew I was going to have to be there. Because there was no way in holy heck we could afford private school tuition for 3 kids. And we make a good living between the two of us. But yeah, so, but again, I really thank you for your time. I have some cards if anybody would like to take a card. It has my website and my Facebook on it. If you want to follow me on Facebook, it's real easy. Sarah for Schools. I'm sarahsforschools.com, and it's with an H. But you know, I hope to have earned your vote, or at least made you think about voting for me. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I think Martin may have told me that he wouldn't be here tonight. I forgot that he wouldn't be here tonight. Let's go ahead. All right. We're all going to Martin's house now. Can I answer what's going on in Ward's Corner? Maybe, depends on the question. Do you have a specific question? Do you have a specific question, Joan?
Yeah. I want to know what's going on with the Midtown, because they said somebody bought that property was going to do something with it.
So, yeah, as far as I know, they did buy it. I haven't heard any update, I think, since Martin said last month. I mean, yeah, the new owners are trying to actively lease it out. And they put the AAA.
The leases, the costs are really high.
Yeah.
What?
Because I live.
It went up.
Correct.
Yeah.
It went even up after
The
that?
rent, no, it just went up again, because I just called to move I was trying to move my business towards Corner, and there's no way.
That's where I was trying to go.
Yeah.
They told me $25 a square foot.
It's cheaper to
And I
stay
said,
and
"You're
get.
crazy."
And get
Where is
time.
this?
The whole district is very high rent.
Yeah.
Here, which you wouldn't think. 'cause
But
it's empty
I think
storefronts,
part
but
of the
it's
issue
very
is
high rent.
the anchor business of like Chipotle and stuff like that is my understanding is part of the issue
Correct.
over there.
Yeah, those who did pay the rent have deep pockets. Yeah.
They don't want to move
Like the shoe guy?
or negatively impact them.
Correct.
Yeah, but the rent's so high, it's fine.
Yeah. When they raise
So the
shoe
people
guy?
that are paying the rent are supporting.
The empties.
Oh, it looks awful. They don't care. They're getting rent.
Yeah. So supposedly the new owners are more motivated than the last owners who were like beach bums, right? But we'll see how that plays out. Yep.
Anything on the Rite Aid or the Far First buildings?
I don't know any specifics on the Rite Aid, but rumor on the street was that people are actively looking and pursuing that. So I think we'll hear something soon. The Farm Fresh property, there was some, I forget, they were pitching one thing and then it changed course and were pitching something different, but they're not collecting any money from Kroger anymore. So they're actively trying to get a revenue stream going somehow. And as far as we know, the store with the big red circle as their logo, I think they're waiting for the ground to get clear and something will happen. I think first half of next year we should start seeing things.
So they're still planning on going in.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, it's a huge site. Yeah.
Yeah, but
They have the population that they wanted to look for in this part area. It makes sense.
The quote that I heard from before was that they were looking to build the absolute biggest retail building they could put on that piece of property.
Oh.
What about traffic?
What
about traffic going in and out?
No way.
Particularly when the train comes through.
Yeah, well, yeah, trains, yeah.
But a little bit of grocery competition wouldn't be
A
bad.
little bit of grocery competition
Yeah,
would be
so I
great.
might
Yes.
sit for a train a little bit longer if I don't have to pay the prices that I'm paying now for groceries.
That's correct.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Back to the conference.
I'm trying to think if I know anything else. That's probably all the details I have right this second on anything in the business district. If I think of something else, I'll let you know. We do have like a ton of things coming up in the next like 10 days.
a ton.
Yeah, a ton. I have 3 different things I can tell you about this Saturday. 2 are here. One is we'll be doing the adopt a spot at 9 a.m. out here at the field cleaning up. And then we'll hopefully not be dirtying the field up at 4:30.
We're gonna do another adopt a spot at 4:30. Yeah.
So then we're gonna have our fall festival here at 4:30 at the field here because North Shore Playground is still tore up trying to fix the drainage there. Also that day, in between that, from 11 to 3, there is a public plan workshop at Granby High School where they'll have boards set up and you can go provide your input to the Norfolk's vision for 2050. All right, so what do you want this place to look like even for me, this is like what I want it to look like for the next generation of, hopefully I'm still here, but I'll probably be retired by then, God willing. I'm hoping I'm not still civically president. Yeah, they're one of you. Yeah. The other thing is on October 30th, so not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday at 6 o'clock here, there is another meeting about the redesign of this building. I have asked what the agenda is, and nobody knows. I even was talking with Bob Batcher. Where did I see Bob? Yesterday at Stockley Gardens. I saw Bob, and he has no idea what the agenda is either. He works here every day.
So that's Wednesday the 30th?
Wednesday the 30th.
At 6.
At
6
6.
p.m.
Yeah. Here, we'll talk about what this redesign. I assume it's an update with hopefully new information. If for some reason I find out that it's just a repeat of what we've already heard, I'll try to get that out so you don't waste your time coming in here and
So
saying
we
thing.
could see it with
Where are
better
you
light.
getting the information about it?
So that came from the city, from like Jamie, our neighborhood reps. I mean, I've got like literally a flyer. There might be some out front here. There's a
Is the
flyer.
city advertising it?
Supposedly, yes.
Only as well as they do.
What?
Only as well as they ever do.
Yeah.
Is there a way you can guys to start civically Facebook page to get word out about it?
There should be. There should be, yes. I'm trying to think. We can certainly email it out. I mean, we can send it out too. The city itself, that's what I was again, I was just trying to press them on what
Do
they're
you
gonna
have
talk about.
direct contact with the other civic league president, and our little Nicholas?
Mhm. Yeah, and I think
Maybe he could reach out.
Talbot, or-
Yeah, and I think Jamie's, because Jamie's our neighbor, she's, and what is NSA, Neighborhood Service
Yeah.
Area, is that right?
Yeah.
NSA Service Area 4, so she covers,
Okay.
I forget where the boundaries are, but she covers this plot
A big-
around us, right? And I know when she sends these things out, it goes to like all of us, so I think at least someone in the civic leagues is aware of it. Now, I don't know if the city's putting it out beyond.
It is in the city's email.
It is out there.
Information to the city of Norfolk.
It's easy to miss that, but it is in
Yeah,
the city.
and again, all of it said is, it's a meeting about this building.
Maybe it's the same presentation we
Well,
had before, but
correct,
I
that's-
don't mind, I'm gonna. bring
That's what I was
my-
trying to ask, yeah, I suspect, I don't think the contractors are coming back, so I don't think it's gonna be the exact same, but I'm hoping there's some update on, I don't know, from, I mean, 'cause they're saying they've had to do some changes with our, when they went through the arborist, there's different trees they gotta keep in parking spaces, and there's already things shifting and adjusting from the original thing you saw, but. Anyway, we'll get information out as we know it, hopefully it'll be before 5:59 that day.
Just a quick question on that. Are there gonna be an overlap in time when this before this gets torn down, the other one will be going up, or is it, once they start construction, we gotta find
They're-
another place?
Yeah, they're saying that right now the plan is May of next year, this building will start getting torn down, so that'll probably get delayed. But
There's no
but
other.
the services would shut down here. They say the field will stay open until they have to take that for like a lay down area.
Find a good place to-
Oh, Tice Town.
Yeah.
Titustown.
Yeah,
they don't-
Titustown's
They don't
great.
have an equipment room,
Yeah,
but they have basketball courts and they have.
they're moving stuff over there though, it's my understanding. They're gonna do some more at Titus Town, because I attend their civic league meetings too. I own the property over there too, so.
Okay.
Yeah, Titus Town will be good.
Okay.
My boys actually work out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll have to suffer a little bit till it's new and shiny and all
They
that.
do have some equipment in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
it's not a ton, but my kids work out.
We'll tell them it'll get more crowded here.
I know. I already told them.
But maybe the city will move this equipment out there, or move.
They had
Yeah.
said
equipment
at
somewhere.
Titus Town Recreation Center that they thought that may happen in the interim.
I don't think so. Yes, that's what's coming up in the next 2 weeks. I'm sure we'll see several people out on Halloween, and then November 18th is our meeting back here again. I don't think we're gonna have a December meeting, so it'll probably be the last meeting of the year. We will probably be presenting, hopefully, some proposed bylaw changes about potentially
limits.
membership and term limits. Yes. And then we've got YIMBY, Yes in My Backyard. Folks are gonna come talk to us, and we're also probably gonna have codes, the NIMBY, Not in My Backyard, folks come and speak to. So it should be a interesting meeting. I think, did I leave anything out? Okay. We'll look forward to seeing folks on Saturday at one of many different things, hopefully.
Invite your
Nearby here.
neighbors here. so
Yeah,
there's
bring
more
all your
flyers,
neighbors.
Please.
Be fun. See you there.
Cheers, boys.
All right.
Zach, do you want more flyers? We needed about 25.
Oh, yeah, 8 o'clock on the dot.
No, you didn't. I was like, I'm trying to get these brothers.